My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So we're winding down 2022. 2022? Is it two? We're rounding down 2022. Yes, it is two. We're rounding down 2022. 2022. We are rounding it down, and you know, I think it's fair to say, this is not going to be anybody's top 10 years of that they've been in, unless they're under 10, right? It's like, I don't think this is going to be like anyone's like, yeah, we want more of 2022. It's been a weird year, like where none of the rules really worked, more of the same, and where basically a lot of weird and very bad stuff went down, and we all just shrugged with, fair. And that was the year. If I was going to encapsulate the year in one syllable, it'll be meh. And it was like, it's not like nothing's happened this year. David Tennant's come back to Doctor Who. We found out that social media is in fact a tool of the intelligence services, and it works to as it was developed and to control us, to surveil us, and to censor us, right? Okay, but that was weird. And it's not like, oh no, this terrible thing's about to happen. It happened years ago, and we're all like, fair, meh. That's 2022 for you, but there has been one, there's been more than one, but there's been one real great silver lining. By the way, I did want to say that the lengths that these nefarious organizations that go to control us gives me a little bit of hope, because it must mean, you know, it's pretty hard to control us, right? They're putting billions upon billions into controlling us. Must mean they're a little bit nervous of us being out of control, which means I think us being out of their control is much closer than we perceive it to be. Why? Because reality is, well, why are we perceiving it not to be that way? Because reality is being controlled, curated by these intelligence services. So, you know, I think there's reason to be optimistic there. But, you know, talking about the good things that happened this year, one of the good things that happened this year was the slow, real-time, and hilarious implosion and meltdown of toxic Doctor Who fandom. And toxic fandom in general, but mostly toxic Doctor Who fandom. Boy, have they been showing their arse this year. Has not worked out well for them. Do you remember when they used to rule the roost? Like, you know, you would have complete control of Twitter, and would suddenly go around banning anyone, and you know, all the normal stuff, right? And they were just, genuinely speaking, terrible people with terrible personal morality. So something that's happened since David Tennant and Ross D. Davis have come back to Doctor Who. It's become very clear that they like to complain about things. They are addicted to outrage and addicted to complaining. And now they just look a bit stupid, right? And well, that's the first thing. So they look a bit stupid, and they're looking increasingly more stupid and more out of touch. But the next phase is actually happening right now, that they're now denying that they were ever toxic fandom, right? They were never. They say toxic fandom existed, but that's not them, and they were never part of it, even though they were it's like, it's the craziest thing, right? It's the craziest thing. We're going to get into this in a lot more detail, but first, like, share, subscribe, all those things are very good. Thank you very much. Listen, you want to give me a little Christmas present? Hit the subscribe button. That way, if you don't want to give me a little Christmas present, hit the subscribe button. I'm Jewish, I won't like it, right? Yeah, if you don't like me, right, and you want to piss me off, hit the subscribe, I mean, assuming you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I do have to put these caveats in. So, you know, if you want to give me a Christmas present, that'll own me, right? Oh, you will so owe me by hitting that subscribe button. You want to really super owe me, sign up my Substack, my email newsletter, which also looks like it's about to be bought by Elon Musk. Go for it, Elon! Can I have Twitter Blue here in Israel, mate? I ask every day. Twitter Blue in Israel. Take my money, buddy. I want Twitter Blue, right? You know, used to be, when I was a young whippersnapper, all I ever wanted was Electric Blue, right? Electric Blue was this really, I don't know, it seemed to be very seedy, homegrown British porn, right? And it was always on the top shelf, right? Electric Blue. It was it had so much mystique to it, and I gather it was like just really, really tacky, and not very sexy, right? But I'll take a bit of Twitter blue instead. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack, all those things are very, very good. I have a paid Substack. Again, you hate watching, you want to sign up to my paid Substack. Again, you want to own me, baby. That's the way to do it. That makes me your bitch. So yes, I'll be your bitch. Yes, all you got to do is pay me $5 a month, and you've won. Oh yes. Then I think there's going to be quite a few hate watchers this video, because I'm taking the biz out of them, and they don't like it, and I do. So like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack, Instagram. I'm on Instagram now. Twitter, I've already mentioned that. All those things are good. Fine. Let's talk about toxic Doctor Who fandom. So they're not a million miles away from the people involved in the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials was essentially a way of getting property from people for free, right? They would be accused of witchcraft and then burnt at the stake, and they would get the property, right? But the kids involved felt this like self-righteous glee and control, this insane control that they shouldn't have. Which they became somewhat addicted to, right? So I think that's very, very similar to the toxic Doctor Who fandom that like patrols Twitter, or used to patrol Twitter. They used to have this group called Nut My Doctor, which would live just to monitor anyone who didn't like Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. And let's be fair, nobody liked Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. I mean, there's some people who think they did. Some people who like say, well, I grew up with it. Nobody really liked it because it wasn't very good. Let's just be honest. No, yeah, I mean, like, when I'm picking through the dregs of 2022, doing my reviews of the year, it's like I pick out little diamonds, right, in the sea of excrement. I pick out these little diamonds, but still, it's not much. Few and far between. It's the same thing with the toxic Doctor Who fan. There's really nothing that you could glean from the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who that would be like, oh yeah, that's an enriching experience. My life is better for it. No, it's absolutely failed in every freaking way, right? It's an absolute complete failure. And that's one reason toxic Doctor Who fandom hates it now, because they like to be successful. Because again, they're the kids from the Salem witch trials that were given all this power of life and death over people, and they loved it. They became addicted to it. They giggled with it with glee, right? And I think because of that, the people on Twitter doing the same thing, they become somewhat addicted to outrage, right? They can make outrage. So unfortunately, the people that outraged at now are on the right side of history. It's not like J.K. Rowling, right? They managed to cancel J.K. Rowling, which was not a good thing. Well, not cancel them, but like, well, whatever. However you want to do it, but they got way too much power. But it's not really working with the current era of Doctor Who, because pretty much most people, I think, are on board for it. I get there's a lot of people like who think it's going to be garbage or going to be more of the same, but it's going to be too woke for them, right? It might be. It might well be. I have no idea. It's not for me. And oh god. And I always have to do this in case there's anybody new watching. Woke. People go, well, there's no definition for woke. I will define it for you. This is my working definition in terms of media. Woke is the uncomfortable uncomfortable platforming of ideology on a franchise with an existent successful fan base, right? So that will be and the ideology is normally a mixture of things that everybody agrees with, that women are people too, black people should be treated with respect as well. Like basic stuff that everybody sane agrees with, and then like stuff that was maybe being grafted into society somewhat, like where women have penises and men can have babies, those sort of things. Not entirely universally accepted, even though we know we have to say it's universally accepted, because the social media, that's like they want us to do, right? They don't want any dissent. Anyway, I digress. So toxic fandom, they live to hate and be outraged by anybody who didn't share their values in any way, shape, or form. And it's still going on today, right? It's still going on right now, and they just look like a bunch of schmucks. Where is this? Is this the one? I think Doink. No, that's the article we're about to read. There, Doink, right. So this is the, this is from, when is it? Yesterday, I mean, no, day before yesterday, they were in a meltdown, in a tizzy. Their hair was on fire because of the trailer, right? The wonderful trailer Rusty Davis has dropped on Christmas Day for no reason other than to be awesome. And also, I think, you know, it pumps up Doctor Who a bit. So, note the references to somebody's weight are always unnecessary and insensitive. Why? Regardless if it's commenting on overweight or underweight. Listen, darling. Oh, it's not the end of the world to be called a fat cunt, okay? And this is from somebody who's a fat cunt, right? It's not the end of the fucking world. Oh, he called him skinny at the microaggression. Like, for fuck's sake, we can't live in this world with you fucking losers running around like the world's ending all the time. Oh no, there's racism. But that man's black, yeah, and he's saying that he doesn't like the white man, and it's like, that's not racism. Black people can't be racist. It's like they're all so bloody insane and contradictory. He's so skinny. If you hug him, you'll get a paper cut. Is as insensitive. He's so fat. No, you're just bonkers, right? And probably a fat cunt as well. Body shaming of underweight people is unfortunately still very socially acceptable compared to fat shaming. Let me tell you, fat shaming is live and kicking, darling, okay? There's no need to worry about. That's okay. But underweight people, like myself, oh, so you're thin. Okay, now you're just showing off. Are often very self-conscious about our weight. Well, have something to fucking eat then, you daft cunt. What is wrong with you? Really? I got somebody complaining they're having trouble putting on weight on. Wah! Boo fucking who? Oh my God. Eat some ice cream! God. Oh. Here's what you do. Just go for it. Okay, here's my life, right? I eat essentially wood chips and cardboard, right? That's what happens when you get old. You eat wood chips and cardboard with water that's like, you know, coloured to look white, right? That's essentially it. That's what happens to you when you get older, right? You just read my brain and eat everything I want to eat. You'll put on weight fine, mate. There'll be no problem, okay? You come to the Rabbi school of eating, I will help. I will bulk you out, darling, okay? I'm here for you. Very self-conscious that carries health implications and we're in a constant futile struggle to gain. How's that futile struggle? Right? It's not a futile struggle for me to lose weight. I just don't want to do it. It's not futile. It's painful, right? Oh, I agree. Body shaming altogether is still socially acceptable in society, and there's still a journey to be made. No, we don't want to make these fucking journeys where we're all ballless cucks. Oh, let's all be a ballless cock, yay! In society, there's still a journey to be made to reduce the impact of old thoughts. The only thing I would like to add is the word fat and skinny are not bad words, nor slurs. Well, it depends how you use them. Again, if you call somebody a fat cunt or a skinny cunt, that's normally a bit slurish. One would say a bit slurish, right? It'll be hard to press to say that was so. That's toxic fandom for you, right? Toxic fandom are they're just dying on the vine, and it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious, and they don't like it, right? They don't like it, which led to this glorious little article, again signifying the absolute heat death of toxic fandom, right? So accidentally, CBR, one of the worst websites ever created, wrote a true headline when they were lying, right? It was like, wow, how'd you do that? Just lucky, I guess. Davis Tennant, Doctor Who return can only work as a criticism of toxic fandom. Well, yeah, we agree. It doesn't only work. It is a criticism of toxic fandom. Who's toxic fandom? You dumb cunt. I mean, you dumb cunt. You are the toxic fandom, and David Tennant's return is a criticism of you. Yes, we agree. Yes, that you are being criticised because you were a moron and you were wrong. Yeah, okay. Everything. It's the same with all the crazy never Trumpers. Everything they believed about people who like Trump is actually true about them. They were rubes that were duped by insincere liars who are apparently racist pedophiles and perverts. I mean, do you need to say pedophile and pervert? Yes, because there's all kind of different perversion. Yeah, you were duped, right? You took on this ideology which is just deeply, deeply evil. That's caused nothing but pain and misery and suffering. Why? To enrich the people like Joe Biden in the world. So well done there, idiots. Everything they thought about Trump is actually true about them. It's crazy. They thought Trump would destroy the world. No, they did. Biden did, right? Everything, and it's so true of it. Let me go out on a complete limb here. I don't think Diane Darcy's a big Trump fan. Is my guess. What do you think, boys and girls? Do you think Diane Darcy is a big Trump fan? Probably not. No. So they're in a meltdown, right? Because David Tennant's return is a criticism of toxic fandom, and they don't like criticism. They don't like being wrong. They don't like hearing no. They don't like being told off. It's probably because they were brought up with the terrible curse of participation trophies, right? That's probably what's going on with them. So they just can't deal, right? And this is an article about them not dealing, and we're watching them go down in flames. Mwah. To which I will read this and I will take the piss. It's just kind of what we do in this world. Fine. So David Tennant is back as the 14th Doctor, and while Doctor Who's 60th anniversary trailer promises an epic story, it could also comment on toxic fans. It already is. It's commenting on you. You idiot moron. The BBC released a new trailer for the Doctor Who's 60th anniversary special. Awesome! Awesome, Mac, awesome! Rusty Davis. Set to air in November 2023, 11 months early, very impressive. The special starred David Tennant, the 14th Doctor, and marked the return of Catherine Tater's fan-favourite companion, Donna Noble. The 60th anniversary special was also debut Neil Patrick Harris's mysterious villain, probably the special toy maker. Oh, as well as Yasmin Finney's Rose. For that's the only thing that they really care about, right? And here's the thing. You're watching people trying to put real life, which is complex and diverse and goes in lots of different directions, into simplistic, childish boxes so they can understand it, right? Why is Yasmin Finney in Rusty Davis's Doctor Who? Because he wants to make trans people more visible, right? He wants to make trans people more visible, and I think he feels the efforts to do that thus far have been almost entirely counterproductive, right? That's what I think is going on. So I don't think it's more of the same of like, let's just cram in as many lesbians as we can into any situation. It will always make it better. And tell you, up until 2017, I would be on board with that point of view. More lesbians, normally the better. I mean, look, I would say lesbians as some kind of shiny lotion would also be good. Oh, it doesn't have to be the lotion. Some avocado puree, for example, would do the trick. That sort of thing. I was very, very on board for increasing the visibility of lesbians, throughout the world. Absolutely, 100%. Even in their most intimate of moments. And strangely enough, kind of gone off it now. I have my normal friends saying, why is everybody gay in everything, right? Like, it's hit the normies, but normies don't really matter now. I mean, it's... Well, you know what 2022 was? Do you remember the end of Deep Space Nine? Which season was it? I can't remember the season. It was during the Changeling Wars, and they were looking for, the Changelings, the shape-shifty type people that Odo was the race of. If you've never saw it, you're missing out. It's great. But, like, they find one hiding out in Starfleet Command, and as he's dying, he says, "You're too late. We're everywhere." And that's 2022. That's 2022. We're like, oh, well, I guess that's where we are. Fine, the special star. And so, how's it? I can't wait for him to get to his point, or her to get to a point. The special star David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, Mark the Return of Cam Fan, blah blah blah. The 6th anniversary of Neil Patrick Harris, and Yasmin Finney's Rose, most important thing in the world to them. Yasmin Finney's Rose. It must all be about stunning and brave women with penises. Yes, no. While the trailer is promising an epic storyline that will mark the debut of Doctor Who's most obscure characters, like Meet the Beep, it's not really an obscure character. Meet the Beep is quite a big character that is going to be on the screen rather than moving from comic books to screen, is a big deal, right? And who else is moving over with him? We did get an indication that Frobisher might be coming. If Frobisher's going, Atlan Dark's on the way as well. Somebody had a great idea who could play up something. I said Henry Cavill, but somebody had a much better idea. And I can't remember who it was now. It's a shame. Meet the Beep, there is one other thing the specials can address. Toxic fandom. Again, they already have done. They're addressing you, mate, okay? They're addressing you. Because toxic fandom is the reason Doctor Who failed completely, right? Toxic fandom is the reason that Russell T Davies needed to come back to Doctor Who, right? Because of toxic fandom destroying Doctor Who, right? Toxic fandom run Doctor Who. When asked by Stephen Colbert is one of the most worthless pieces of excrement ever to exist in the world. God, do you remember when he was doing unfunny sketches about people dancing with syringes? Take the shot, the untested RMA shot, take the shot. Oh, Dr. Fauci, remember that? Turned out that was all bullshit, right? It was all bullshit. And Stephen Colbert is kind of like state propaganda. You ever seen Hunger Games? Who's the bloke in Hunger Games that had the TV show that interviewed Jennifer Lawrence? And that's Stephen Colbert, right? That is him. It's not just all fake, it's all evil and fake. So in 2017, I asked about the backlash Jodie Whittaker received when it first announced as a 13th Doctor. There wasn't one! You're lying! There was never a backlash. There were a few people who went, oh, I'm not sure. That sounds like it might be, going a bit woke. I've already defined this term. It sounds like it might be. I was not one of those people. I'm like, yeah, why not? Sounds like it'd be good. They're not going to screw this up. It's too big, too important. There's no way. No way. And I was wrong completely about everything, right? It was unwatchable garbage. There was no backlash against her. The backlash came from the absolute turgid shit they put on screen, right? Nothing to do with her vagina, nothing to do with not having a penis, but even if she had a penis, she could still be a lady, okay? That's the fucking insane world we live in. So what did your propaganda, Steve Colbert, ask him? Tennant's response. Wait. He asked about Jodie Whittaker. So Tennant's response was, whenever the Doctor changes, there's a backlash because the people, that's the character people love. Oh, David, I just love that you're able to, even though you're woke as fuck, along with every other lovely actor in the world. You're all woke as fuck, okay? But I think you're starting to wake up. 2022 was the year you woke up and smelled the coffee and looked around the utter devastation of the culture that you have allowed to happen, right? So this was a good answer, right? So they get very affectionate about the Doctor. They do, no one feels affectionate to Jodie. She's gone. Tennant then reflected on his own experience with the backlash when he was first announced as Christopher Eccleston's replacement in 2005. Yeah, this is completely ripping out the narrative from him, right? No, the backlash because she's a woman and we're all racist and we're fighting against racism. That's what we're doing. That's like, yeah. No. Weasley-looking guy. Who's this? I like the last guy. Nobody said that. We were surprised he's leaving. But no one was like, no, I've known him for 9 episodes. Don't let him go. Nobody was like that. We're all happy to see him come back from Big Finish. But nobody was like, oh, no, I can't live without David Tennant, without Christopher Eccleston. And I like Christopher Eccleston, right? So this is all a lie. Who is this? I like the last guy. This is not going to work for me. The show is dead. I resign from the internet. Send, yes. And there's a lot of that, and it happens every time. And that's because it's a show that has a lot of enthusiastic followers. With Tennant back in as a 14th Doctor, the timing is right for addressing fandom backlash in the upcoming sequels. It's not backlash, right? When you make shit, people will say, you have made shit. It's not backlash. Backlash is, I don't know, oh no, it's a girl. A girl can't play, okay. I don't think a girl can play James Bond, right? I think James Bond is an intrinsically male character. I think it's an intrinsically white character as well, right? So would it be a backlash against a black female James Bond? Or would that be people saying, I like the character of James Bond, you've changed it so it's not James Bond anymore. Even though you put James Bond on the cover, it's still not James Bond, right? When you change the content of it so completely, right, so totally, it's not that thing anymore. That's not a backlash, right? That's not a backlash. But look, I'm kind of open-minded. I like to wait and see what happens. Like, people are pissed as anything with James Gunn. Apparently on January 6th, they're announcing their plans for the DCU, right? I want to hear what he's got to say, right? I watched Suicide Squad last night. It was excellent. It was really, really good. I forgot how good it was. Really good movie. I think he's only ever done... the only things I've seen for James Gunn have been good movies. So I'm still psyched, even though he's not doing what I want him to do. Toxic fandom in Doctor Who's modern era. Yes, it only arrived with Jodie Whittaker because they were her fans. Her fans were the toxic ones. That is correct. Different generation of Doctor Who fans are no strangers to backlash. No. There's again, it's not backlash, all right? Every time a new actor is cast in the role of the iconic Time Lord, as Tennant very succinctly described, the show has a very passionate fan base. But yeah, these people who like Jodie Whittaker, they didn't even like the show. They just liked that she was female and she was taking on what they perceived to be a masculine role. They perceived to be a masculine role because it was a masculine role. And then they said, no, it's not a masculine role. That's the only reason you liked it, that a woman was playing it, because they saw it as a masculine role. With every fan having a favourite incarnation of Doctor, as such, it's hard for fans to let go of the version of the Time Lord they strongly resonated with. Nobody strongly resonated with, some people did, but look, they aimed at a teeny tiny demographic, right? A teeny tiny demographic, and maybe they empathise with not that many other people. How do we know that? We have a thing called ratings. Ratings indicated this did not go down very well. As such, found it go, and are known to be harshly critical of new actors stepping into role. Of course, those initial reactions are often quickly invalidated by the moment viewers expected the new Doctor's experience the first episode, often showcasing that they always had the acting chops required. Exactly, and it totally demonstrated that Whittaker did not have the acting chops required. That's 100% correct. She could not conceive of the role, right? And Chris Gemmell certainly didn't find a way of being able to explain it to her. And I don't think he understood the role either, which is a bit weird, but okay. As Tennant elaborated in his interview with Colbert, again, like that you're citing Stephen Colbert, right? A sick, disgusting, lying propagandist that he is. And this is not an opinion anymore. This is not a conspiracy theory. Last week, couple of weeks, this has just all come out, right? Casting the role of the Doctor is about finding the right performer at the right time. Well, you know what? I think Jodie Whittaker was the right performer at the right time. Why? Because all of our culture simultaneously imploded, right? Imploded because there's this weird idea that you need to be able to identify with the character on the most superficial level absolutely possible to be able to identify with the character. Now, what I think is going on is this, right? I think this is a wider problem with the liberal progressive culture. Liberal progressive culture looks at things and comes up with stupid reasons for that, and which aren't true, and then looks at ways of fixing those stupid reasons that don't exist and cause greater problems. That's essentially what happens. So they looked at, say, the corporate structure, and they saw that, especially in the leadership roles, it vastly skewed masculine over feminine, right? So they drew the moronic, idiotic conclusion that that's because men hate women and they want to control them and not give them the same number of opportunities. Well, that is somewhat true to a certain extent, right? In history, I don't think that's particularly true now. But anyway, so then there was a move to bring women into the corporate structure, and when you reduce your hiring pool, right, the only result will be you get lower quality people in the roles, which is what happened. Now, add to that men and women are fundamentally different in their worldviews, and the way they understand self to be different, generally speaking, are different. The way girls play with toys is they imagine themselves as the toy. They imagine themselves as the character. Princess Buttercup is really me, right? However, boys do the opposite. They imagine that the character they're playing is that they are the character, right? They are Han Solo. So male characters have very strongly defined character traits, while female characters have very low defined character traits. This belies a basic fundamental difference between men and women. Something that they do not want to exist, yet it does. There's a basic difference between men and women. So now we got a lot of women in leadership roles who are not very good at the job. Kathleen Kennedy, great example, right? She said, well, I'm a woman, and if I don't see myself in a character, I can't relate to it. It's not for you, darling, right? It's not for you. This is a generally a masculine thing, right? A masculine franchise. Indiana Jones and Star Wars, both masculine franchises. That's why you have characters with defined characteristics. No, let's make it all female, and no one's interested, right? Absolutely. So essentially, that's why we got a female Doctor Who, because we had an injection of low quality workers into the upper corporate structure that didn't know what they're doing, implemented their worldview on things without ascertaining if it was really the correct thing to do, thus destroying it, right? That's how we got Jodie Whittaker. So she was the right casting for the right moment, right? That's where we were in culture, and that's why all culture completely failed, right? Completely imploded at the same time. So yeah. He even supported Chris Gillman's decision to cast his Broadchurch co-star Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. What was he going to say? That cunt? Oh, no, it's called being professional. It's called being polite. When asked about his reaction to Whittaker's casting, Tennant said, I'm delighted. She's been on Broadchurch for 3 seasons, and I know her very well. She's a mate of mine. So what's he going to say? And she sucks ass, and she's going to be the worst ever. I do know people who know Chris Chibnall, right? And more than one, right, who has spoke to me personally, and they have said, when Chris said, oh, she blew us away in the interview, she showed us that she was the perfect Doctor, literally unquoted, and said, well, I wish we saw that. She was completely unqualified for the role. And that's what they really think. Yeah, here's the thing. They're lying when they're saying things like that. David Tennant is like, I mean, nobody knew it was going to be as bad as it was, but it was. It was awful. David first explained that that he couldn't think of someone better to join the gang. Again, it's called a lie. You know, to be polite. That's what it is. And that all the backlash over casting will be made irrelevant after she took on the part. Well, that's what everybody assumed, right? It got a lot worse, didn't it? Right, when they saw what she did, which was garbage. That now the mainstream media also goes, oh no, it's garbage. Oh, awful. While the majority of Doctor Who fans, along with Tennant, embraced Whittaker as the first female Doctor. Yes, me too. And then I watched what she did, and it was unwatchable garbage. Unfortunately, a very vocal corner of fan base spent Whittaker's entire tenure tearing down both her era and her Doctor. No! She spent her time doing that! These are honest fucking reviews of a piece of worthless shit that you shoved down our mouth because you told us we're sexist and we're fucking not, you blithering moron! It wasn't disingenuous, it was accurate, and that's why you're so fucked off, and that's why you're having a meltdown. It's not that we were making it up, it's that we're telling the fucking truth, you blithering moron. At the heart of Whittaker's less thoughtful criticism was go woke, go broke. That absolutely happened, you idiot! Yes! That absolutely... Let me pull up the ratings. Okay, now I guess we got to pull up the ratings. Did I update the ratings? I think I did. Here we go. Open with Google Chrome. Put this over here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, look at the ratings, for God's sake. That's what called... Yeah, that's called going broke because you went woke and you went broke. You uncomfortably platformed an ideology that women were second-class citizens in the Western world, which doesn't make any sense and doesn't bear up to reality whatsoever, on an existingly successful fan base, thereby destroying it. Yes, this is what happened. Bloody idiot. Yeah, you went woke and you went broke. You had the lowest ratings of all time. That actually happened. Go woke, go broke. Yes, yeah, the reason you hate it because it's real, right? With some vocal fans referring to the 13th Doctor as Dr. Karen. Yeah, she is a Karen. It was a Karen approach to the role. She didn't understand it. She played it like Andy Pandy. She had a few modes. She could like do scrunch face. She could do David Tennant impersonation. She could do a sad little girl who lost her dolly, and she could do like happy moron. Right? That's all she got. That's all she had. And that didn't work. It didn't cut it. Whenever she was on the screen, it failed. That's why they kept removing her from the screen, especially in her last episode, which was markedly better because of the lack of her being in it. Due to the character's gender? No. Due to the character being a Karen. I know many women who aren't Karens. Jodie Whittaker is a super Karen, right? I know many female actors who I would never call a Karen. For God's sake. Like Louise Jameson. I would never call Louise Jameson Karen. I just finished listening to the War Doctor Begins, what's it, box set 4? Awesome, right? Awesome. It's basically Louise Jameson has her DNA all over that. What a brilliant actor. And you know why she's such a brilliant actor? Because she's so clever, right? She takes apart a role and she looks at things honestly and she has true authenticity in her performance. She is not a Karen, but she's a woman. Not all women are Karens. Fuck. When Shooting Up was similarly announced as Whittaker's slave in May 22, some vocal fans objected to Whittaker's era continued their song and dance about how the BBC was killing the franchise dead. Excuse me, they did. It was cancelled until Rusty Davies came back. Oh, they did. I mean, the real problem with your idiot argument you're making is all the facts happen to be true. Well, again, I have to think it's going to be good, right? I think, look, we won't know until we see it. But I think there's lots of pieces of evidence out there. If you add up all the evidence, I think the evidence for it being good outnumber the evidence for it being bad. It might be bad. It might be bad. There's evidence for both. Go both ways. But yeah, they had killed the franchise. Fucking moron. The casting of Yasmin Finney as the first transgendered Rose, as the first transgendered character, not Rose, simply gave these less thoughtful fans more fuel for their ever-raging fire. That's one of the pieces of evidence that it might be bad, right? You can't read that and Disney carrying it. Yes, both those things are not small factors, right? Which I am overlooking and looking at all the other factors. The recurring theme that all their complaints of not wanting the show to progress in any way that's inclusive of people that's not white, heterosexual, cisgender, men as a doctor and non-white companions. You are a racist, bigoted cunt. You are the absolute same evil piece of shit that the little boys and I think it's little girls in the Salem witch trials that were sending people to their death. You're exactly the same piece of shit as they are. Right? How you drive? Oh no, we just don't want to see white, black people or gay people. Oh, you're gay. What is woke? It's the platforming of ideology. Ideologies that we all agree with and we all disagree with, right? That mostly disagree with. And that way, if you point to any of the ideologies that you disagree with, they'll then connect it to the ideologies you do agree with. Right, which I think that's was a bit confusing way of saying it. But the reason they say they want to have platform that women are people too, because then if you say I don't really think men can have babies, you go you hate women, and that's exactly what's going on there. The recurring theme. No, the recurring theme of their complaints was they were right about everything and you made unwatchable garbage, which is what I think Russell Davies is incapable of doing. Thus far, he's been incapable of doing. That's why I think it's going to be quite good. Right? How Doctor Who could cleverly address toxic fandom. It already is! You're the toxic fandom that it cleverly addressed, which is why you wrote this article and you're pissing yourself right now. When David Tennant was officially confirmed as the 14th Doctor at the end of The Power of the Doctor, the vocal fan campaign against Whittaker tenure for years treated his return as a victory. It was. It was. To them, this was the BBC admitting the Whittaker era was a failed experiment. Well, there was that and this, right? That and this. And the fact it was cancelled, right? Do you want to add those into your little thought process, really? You want to try and run those through the little rat's maze of your brain there? No, not up for that. Oh, what a shock. I didn't think you would be. We're up to them, this was the BBC admitting it was a failed experiment and brought Tennant back as a way of restoring fans' faith in the future of the show. That's exactly what it is. Not fans, the normies. Right? Absolutely what it was. Of course, Tennant himself never expressed concern about the show's future and returned for the 60th anniversary special due to his love of Doctor Who. Of course. Yes, and you know that to be the gospel truth because... Exactly. He also came back to the franchise with the awareness that his return would be brief and Gatwa is Whittaker's true successor. Okay, well, I don't think anybody really minds about that. I mean, I don't anyway. Still, returning showrunner Russell Davies can capitalize on Tennant's popularity to address the problem of toxic fandom. He is. Actually, Russell really right now, I think, is very delicately trying to bring toxic fandom back into reality. I think that's the function of this production in general, right? I think he's looked at the garbage that's been put out on our cultural landscape and think this is awful. I think he wants to make Doctor Who into an incubator hub to create a new generation of writers that can actually write, something we haven't seen for quite a number of years. So how's he going to do that, right? To address the problem of toxic fandom in Doctor Who as part of celebrating the show's history and future. God, you're going to get to a point soon, mate. Since Doctor Who has always been about moving forward, not backwards, Tennant's return as the 14th Doctor presents the perfect opportunity to establish the show has never recast a previous actor for a new era. Why has never recast a previous actor for a new era? Okay, well, normally... they're busy. Like, well, who are you bringing back? William Hartnell stopped because he was about to die. And Patrick Troughton had no interest in returning. Neither did John Pertwee. I mean, he wasn't against it, but it was like, I'm doing Wurzel Gummidge, leave me alone. Tom Baker disassociated himself from the role after he left. He was so iconically connected to it, he wanted to do anything other. It took about 20 years before he could come back to the role. Peter Davison, he came back for like 10 seconds 20 years later, but again, when was he supposed to come back? Colin Baker? No. Sylvester McCoy, the show was cancelled. Eccleston, you're not going to see him again. Paul McGann. David Tennant. I mean, like this is the first real opportunity for to recast, right? So, I mean, other than it's been completely impossible before, you're onto a winner here, mate. Oh yeah. Tennant was done the 14th Doctor. For what's been depicted on the 6th anniversary trailer, the 13th Doctor did not expect to regenerate into a previous incarnation. This caused the Doctor to experience something of an identity crisis, effectively confirming that something went wrong with their regeneration. Well, okay, well, yeah, obviously it's weird. We're all trying to work out what's going on. There's also what's this got to do with toxic fandom, you dumb cunts, other than you're it and you don't like being it, right? There's also the villain to consider. While the 6th anniversary trailer doesn't confirm who Neil Patrick Harris is playing, many clues strongly hit the Celestial Toymaker. Apparently the word Celestial was a racist slur against Chinese people from about 150 years ago, right? I did not know that. It was a clever use of the word then, that being the case. By the way, the idea that he was played in the elevator is ridiculous. Not at all. No, not at all. He wore a Mandarin's outfit, but that's about it. Harris's mysterious character embodies those traits in his brief appearance, which could easily be used to address why. Okay, we're saying the same thing into a previous incarnation. It will also easily be used to explain how to retcon Jodie Whittaker and all her garbage of the era away. I mean, I think when she when the TARDIS spat her out as soon as the body regenerated, she got spat out into the Toymaker's realm, and that could well be what we find out, right? And that would make it. All the Whittaker years had happened, it all mattered, it was all real, but nothing affects continuity, and you can just file it away as being Toymaker Doctor, right? You don't have to worry about that at all. There's even a meta-commentary how the villain believes the 10th Doctor is the best incarnation, which could also explain why the universe is suddenly revolving around Donna again. Okay. Of course. It can't be ignored the Doctor has grown a lot since his 10th incarnation. Yeah, I thought he hadn't aged, and I watched Christmas Invasion. Oh boy. Yeah, they were so young, right? With the 13th Doctor embodying much of that growth. She had no character growth, no character development at all. Because she wasn't a character, because it was written by a Moore and I couldn't write. Since the 14th Doctor newly regenerated from that incarnation, much of the 13th Doctor's experiences are still fresh in his memory. I think there's going to be no connective tissue between the 13th Doctor era and the 5th and the 14th, right? All that continuity stuff is being dealt with in the pages of Doctor Who magazine in the comic strip. This is for the normie, right? It's just going to be David Tennant shows up and he's going, what's going on? I don't understand how I'm the Doctor again, right? And that's it. That's all you really need to know. I don't think they're going to reference Jodie Whittaker at all. Why? She's box office poison. Literally. She is why people stop watching the show. She is the face of the failure that you said didn't happen, yet, you know, science says it does. Gotta follow the science. Yeah, really? Well, you don't seem so into it really when you don't want to. He could solidify this point by acknowledging that he must always evolve and never regress. This could also create a stronger transition to Gatwa's 15th Doctor. So basically, just like me, you want the Rusty Davies era to come and retcon away. I want the Rusty era to come and retcon away the unwatchable, damaging, awful garbage that was the Whittaker era of Doctor Who, which is probably what's going to happen. But you want the Rusty Davies era to come along and wash away the bad taste you got in your mouth, because it's clear he's clearly repairing the damage from the completely failed Jodie Whittaker era, right? That's what I think you're hoping for. Okay, again, This video is about the complete and hilarious implosion of toxic fandom, which we're watching right here. While there is no guarantee the 14th Doctor will regeneration will be handled in any way that comments on the vocal fans' unwillingness to accept change. We were fine with it until that change was, let's make it boring, unwatchable garbage that wags its finger at you and is not fun, right? And it has full of plot holes, bad characterization, and badly acted. Those are the changes we didn't want, right? I was on board for it. I was totally on board for it. You fucked it up, not me, mate. All right, I'm just saying that was fucking awful, right? That's all I'm saying, because that's actually what it is. Nothing to do with Jodie Whittaker having a vagina. No, it was awful because it was bad, right? This is especially true since Tennant's return is coming at the heels of the Whittaker era and already sets a bad precedent for how the BBC can artificially boost ratings if a particular era proves controversial. No. This is obviously repairing the damage done by people like you, done by toxic fandom. Still, this doesn't have to be the message. By explicitly reaffirming the Doctor must always embrace change in the 60th anniversary specials, they probably will do something like that as well, so he'll claim victory. Again, the people who are the toxic fans are now saying, oh, no, we were never them. They're the bad people. This could go a long way to invalidate any toxic fan belief the past era was a failure. I love that you put it in comments, failure. No, it's just science proves it to be a failure. Science, right? Metrics. You gotta trust the science. And let me explain it in a way that you might understand, right? A way that is very, very clear. Just in the same way you believe the science was we should have universally, and again, I got 3 of the COVID shots, right? We should all universally have been given the COVID vaccine, right? Now we're seeing all these unexplained deaths from blood clots in younger men, right? But yeah, because you said the science was that. The science that the Jodie Whittaker era was a complete and total failure is about 7,000 or 8,000 times stronger than the science that you should be vaccinated against COVID, right? So do you follow the science? Do you follow the science? My guess, not so much. My guess is you follow your nose because you're a moron, mate, right? Toxic fandom, you are going the way of the dodo. By this time next year, we won't even remember you existed, mate, right? We won't even remember you existed. You'll be gone, forgotten, and not mourned because you were all worthless cunts, and I'm glad to see the back of you. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.